Welcome to TC Vape Reviews. Today we're going to show you how to build on the Sigelei 4.0, otherwise known as S.4. And this is actually the build you're going to see. I'll meet you in the close-up room. See you there. Alright guys, as promised, this is Sigelei 4.0, or otherwise known as the S4 out there for you guys who are going to search it. This is an RDA. Go ahead and look at that, I already had it set up ready to go. Okay, we got the two posts and we're going to make the weave. You need some cotton today. You need some sort of ohm meter, and just for you guys, this is the ohm setting right here. You go click click, ohm reading. Alright, I'm building mine with a 24 gauge Kanthal. Those of you who would like to see the bobbin in action, this is the bobbin, 24 gauge Kanthal. Some sort of screwdriver, preferably a nice small one. And remember, if you're new to this, snug is good enough. You don't want to over tighten. Alright, so the first step is we got to figure out our wraps. I'm taking a small little screwdriver and I'm going to do 5 wraps. That should get us about 0.5 to 0.4 ohms. Take my lead, and then I take my bobbin and I simply go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I don't have my glasses on, so let me put them on so I can see what I just did. Awesome. Alright, so if you did what I just did, just grab your fingernail, push down, make a nice tight coil. Now, what we're going to do next is we're not going to cut that off. We're going to leave it just like that. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go, okay, I want to go from this post to that post, so I want to leave the distance of the post right here. I'm going to fold that around where I have a loop that's about 1/2 inch long in between my two coils. So now we're going to go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. See how easy that is with the bobbin? And then with the bobbin, I'm going to bend the end over, take my small dikes, cut my Kanthal, and put the bobbin away. That's it. Now I've got this goofy looking guy sitting here on my screwdriver. I'm going to take my fingernail again, push it all in where those coils are all nice and tight. For this build you'll need a battery that can handle a little bit more than 10 ohms, because if you have a fully charged battery you're going to actually get about 10.5. so if you don't have anything to cover 10 ohms, you might want to take that another wrap. So instead of 5 wraps on each, it'd be 6. So you should end up with something like this, like an old antenna for TV. Alright, now this loop here is, get the pointer, this loop here, it's not going to focus, there we go. This loop here is going to be on the negative post, and we're going to take these two and put them on the positive. So I take my screwdriver out, and watch what I do here. I'm going to take this negative post, unscrew it a bit, and I'm going to take that loop just like that, and swing her on around, do-si-do. And a do-si-do, and tighten that down right on around. Alright, Now we should have something like this. This is where you should be now. Focus, you slimy little camera. Alright, so after you've gone around, this is where you should be. You should have a lead over here and a lead over here. And you're going to tighten down this screw now. Now, don't tighten it too tight. And yes, I do have a different screw there. 20 gauge Canthal does not work well on this device. Okay, so we're going to go back over here now. I'm going to take my original screwdriver that I was using. I'm going to pick up this coil and I'm rotating it like that, and I'm just going to spin her around like such. And I'm going to put this lead right underneath the screw, and then I'm going to take my screwdriver out, do the same thing, spin her on around. Now you should end up something like that. Real simple. I'm just going to take these and wrap them straight around that screw. Put my screwdriver in this one to kind of hold it in place. Just like that. Wrap this around with my screwdriver, or my tweezers here. And I'm going to grab this lead and wrap it around like such. Give her a pinch, tighten this down, and don't worry about what it looks like right now, just get those two posts on there. We're going to really rely on the Canthal to bend for us. Now, we should be somewhere around in here. Before you trim anything, as long as it's not touching the individual post, we're going to go ahead and do an ohm reading. If you have this on your mechanical mod, go ahead and take the head off like that. If you're using an ohm meter, or if you have a deck that you already use that has an ohm meter built into it, go ahead and use it. Check your ohm readings. If you're using an ohm meter or a multimeter, which is what this is, first thing we're going to do is we're going to verify that it's reading ohms correctly. And mine has a little bit of a temperament because it's very old. It takes a second or two for it to give me an actual good reading. And it's about 0.1 off. So, okay. So now we're going to take this guy, put it on the outside of the unit, right where the threads are. Let that settle down, and then just touch this pin right here. Oh, there we go. And you'll see my guy will settle down right at 0.4. Alright, so we are looking for the 0.4, 0.5 is about what that build should be. If you have a little bit shorter leads than me, you'll probably end up with a 0.3. So just make sure your battery is safe. Go to ohmslawcalculator.com. You're going to put in your voltage and your resistance. So voltage is going to be 4.2 for a freshly charged battery. Since I did get a 0.3, I'm going to go ahead and put that in just to make sure I'm covered for my ohms reading or resistance R. Calculate. Theoretically, if that was a 0.3, I'm going to get 58 watts of power, and I'm going to need 14 amps of coverage. So we got to make sure that our battery is capable of doing that. So for that, I need a 20 amp battery, and we are good. So now I'm going to put this back on here, back on my mechanical mod. I'm going to go ahead and trim these ends. Make sure your mechanical mod is locked. Always check it every time you reconnect your head if you don't want to misfire. And I'm just removing these ends. You don't want to pull and tweak too much. Alright, so here we go. The drip head is going to go right above the silver screw. The reason why we built it like we did is look where the air holes are. So I'm actually building my coils based on my air hole location. So instead of bringing these down onto the deck, close to the deck, I'm actually just going to fold these right on up on top of this post. This positive post, also known as the center post. Alright, and I'm just going to bend this around, make it work for me. And bring that on forward just a little bit more. And bring this guy over here. Right there is good. This guy needs to come over some more. Okay, so now they're right on top. Here, let me get this closer for you. So now these guys are right next to that silver post. And I actually like mine a little bit closer, so there we go. Now, things you want to check for, you want to make sure that none of these leads are touching the other side or directly going across these two posts. That would be a direct short and cause you problems. I've checked mine, and nothing. So now we're going to screw the locking ring, and we're going to do a little test fire. If you get any battery heat or anything like that coming from it, then you need to stop what you're doing. Now notice how I have one coil on the right that's firing quicker than the other. So I need to make some adjustments. So I'm just going to tighten that coil up. Look at that. See how this one's hotter than the other? I'm going to keep messing with that hot one. Oh my goodness, look at that. Now this one's acting up. And what I like to do is I get them good and hot, and then I squeeze them. Get those coils nice and tight. Now I need to come over here and squeeze this guy. Till they glow evenly. Now you see that? There we go. So now we're going to lock our locking ring again. Put that down, get our cotton. This is clean cotton. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm just working it to get a nice kind of yarn-like with the cotton. I'm going to put a nice little finish on the head here so I can get it through my coils. Look at those nasty locksmith hands. Man, that's awesome. Alright, so something to point out here before we run this through. You see this hole here? The hole does not go all the way through, but it does allow juice to set down in that chamber. So the bulk of the cotton that goes down to the deck, I usually put on this side just to get that juice out of that hole. So here we go. We're going to take this through. So with that in mind, the tail is going to be over here, so I'm going to go this way. So I'm going to go right through that one, and to finish out our weave, and watch how I do this. This is how I do mine. I kind of take that cotton back and forth and actually use the coil to kind of loosen up my cotton for me. Alright, and then I take it back through the other side. Weaving it through, weaving it through. And when you take your cotton through, you want that to be not tightly through that. You want to be able to pull that back and forth fairly easy. So there's our little two ponytails, my little hair weave right there. I usually pull the cotton down and go about a ½ inch below the deck, or actually about a ¼ inch below the deck. So I pull that down, I look below a ¼ inch of the deck, that looks good right there. I don't know why I'm using dikes for that, but I am. Alright, I like a lot of on the back end here, so I just tuck that in. This cotton's really not that thick, although it looks thicker on the camera. That's kind of cool. I guess it really does add stuff. Alright. So, now we should get something like that, that, that. A little bit of a hair weave. Now, what we're going to do now is you do not want to dry fire this, so we're going to add some juice. If you dry fire your cotton, you are going to have a fireball, and it's not going to be fun. Well, you might think it's funny later, but if it catches your whole workstation on fire, it's probably not going to be fun. So just get your juice good and saturated, or get your juice is already saturated. Get your wick good and saturated, as to ensure that it will not catch on fire. Fire. I will not put on there. Alright. So, you can see the fruits of our labor. Little hair extension going on. Yeah. Simple build, and it doesn't get much better. Look at all that, just popping up. Pop, 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 pop. Tell you, it works. Alright, that makes me really happy. So, I'm going to go ahead and juice this up again. And just so you guys know, the nice thing about the way this is built is if you take this little lip here and scooch it on back just a little bit, okay, like that. See how I brought that up in between? If you drip aiming for the center, and let me see if I can get, if you drip aiming for the center, you're going to splash both coils and hit this little tuff here that's going to then saturate all of it. Let's get that in focus for you. So if you take that little tuff in the front and tuck it back towards that screw and down, if you aim dead center when you drip your juice, you're going to saturate all this material. Now, what does that do? That means the airflow, though, can get around. The airflow is going to be able to get around those coils, producing a lot of vapor. I actually found it to be pretty flavorful. Let me see what this does, because I'm excited to try it. Line up your air holes with your coils, and let's see. Wow, that works. Alright, I'll see y'all in the exploded view here. Guys, hope you like the build. I know it looks a little funny or whatever, but it works. It works for me. It puts off a ton of vapor, and it's got a lot of good flavor to it. And it was kind of challenging with the location of the air holes, and I just kind of had to figure out a way to make it work, and I did. I made it work. That looks like working to me. If you got any questions, please comment below with your questions, or check me out on Facebook. Please guys, if you're watching these videos and you've made it this far along, why not just go ahead and click the like button and subscribe. I will be constantly putting out as many videos as I can that will help those who are new, and maybe those who are thinking about getting a new product. And just so you guys know, we have gone worldwide. The WordPress blog site, which is where I started, is now in 9 different countries, and in about 2 days time we have hit over 500 views on the Kraken fix. You guys who've had those Kraken clones that are tasting like mechanical oil, the fix is up on my Facebook site, and it is helping a lot of people out. Anyways, vape on guys, have a good night.